Hello, and thank you for joining me, Shanny Leigh, for this Kwanzaa-inspired yoga flow. So a little history about the holiday is that it was founded in 1966 during the Civil Rights Movement to celebrate African American culture. It is celebrated from December 26th until January 1st, so right in between Christmas and New Year's. And Kwanzaa comes from the Swahili phrase Matunda Ya Kwanza, which roughly means first fruits or first harvests. So if you think about in the Southern Hemisphere right now is a time of bounty and harvest. And Kwanzaa specifically is focused around the 7 principles of Kwanzaa, which are unity, self-determination, collective work and responsibility, cooperative economics, purpose, creativity, and faith. And so if you see images of Kwanzaa, there is a candle holder with 7 candles for each of the 7 principles. And the green candles represent the earth, the red candles represent blood, and the black candle represents the African American people. So I hope you enjoy this flow. We'll be incorporating those principles into the practice, and whether you celebrate or not, I personally just love exploring other faith traditions and other cultures and histories. And so this is a fun way for me to mix it in with something else I love, which is yoga. So thank you for joining me, and I will see you on the mat. So we'll get started on our feet in Tadasana pose at the tops of our mats. So I invite you to make your way there, grounding down in your feet, rolling the shoulders down and back, keeping the core active, slightly tucking the tailbone, and soft bend in the knees. You can close your eyes here, or you can have them just gently gazing at something in front of you. Maybe you slightly tuck your chin and just try to find a straight line from the top of your head all the way down to your tailbone. A lot of times we slump forward or we have like the text neck, right? And I catch myself doing that too. So just taking a moment here to have some conscious standing moments. Just take one more round of breath here. And exhale, sigh it out. And now you can keep your hands at your side. Maybe you bring one to your heart, one to your stomach, both to your heart. Maybe you bow your head. And I invite you to think about these 7 principles: unity, self-determination, collective responsibility, cooperative economics, purpose, creativity, and faith. Maybe they all resonate with you. Maybe one resonates with you. And if you'd like to set an intention for your practice, I invite you to think of that now. Just consciously paying attention to our posture, our breath, and our intention, all at the same time. Like Hanukkah, Kwanzaa is celebrated by lighting candles. And so just for a little visualization here before we start, I invite you to think of a little flame, a little light inside of you. And with each inhale, imagine that it flickers and grows, and exhale maybe wanes a little bit. Just in the natural rhythm of fire dancing inside of you. Let's do one more round of breath here. And big exhale, release wherever your hands are. Let them come back to your side. Maybe slowly start to flutter your open. Maybe you slowly start to shift your weight around on your feet. And just to wake up the body, we'll do 3 Vinyasa flows with chair pose. And then we'll get into it. So as you are ready, whatever you're moving, whatever you're shaking out, I invite you to come and find stillness, ground down in your heels, and on your next inhale, arms reach up, maybe find a slight back bend, and exhale, fold it to the mat. Going slow here the first round, and then we'll speed it up. Halfway lift, find your flat back, inhale, and then exhale, plant your hands, and maybe you step or maybe you hop back, finding plank. Take a round of breath, inhale, shift forward, and exhale, lower all the way down. Untuck the toes, roll the shoulders back. Inhale, lift just your chest, finding baby cobra. And then tuck the toes, exhale, lift it up, and push your hips back towards downward facing dog. Let's just take a few rounds of breath here. Still waking the body up.
And then find stillness, exhale. Inhale, lift the heels, bend the knees, gaze forward, and step or hop your way to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift, and here's where chair pose comes in. Exhale, sit the hips down, and reach the arms up into the sky, Utkatasana. Hold here, round of breath. If you did my holiday Christmas flow, you'll know that this is my candle pose, and then inhale, stand it all the way up, big stretch. And exhale, hands back down by your side. So we'll do that 2 more times, this time rising cobra, and then next time upward facing dog. So gradually increasing the speed. Inhale, arms lift up. Exhale, fold. Halfway lift. Chair pose here. Exhale, sit it down, arms reach up. Inhale a breath. And then fold back. Exhale. Hands to the mat, bend the knees, and step or hop back to plank. Inhale to shift your weight forward. Keep your elbows in as you lower all the way down on an exhale. Roll the shoulders back. And then push into your hands to shine your entire chest forward. Rising Bhujangasana Cobra. And then exhale, tuck the toes. Use your low abs to pull your hips and shift them back. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Round of breath. Exhale. Lift the heels, bend the knees, gaze forward. Exhale, step or float or hop. Halfway lift. Chair pose, sit it down. Inhale. Exhale. Stand all the way up. And hands back down. Feeling warm already? Inhale, arms reach, this time straight to chair pose. Exhale, sit the hips down. Inhale. And then exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. From here, find a flat back, halfway lift as you breathe in, finding cobra in the chest. And then bend the knees, plant the hands. You got it. Find your way back to plank. Now you can lower all the way down or halfway down this time as you shift your weight forward onto your toes. Elbows stand, maybe you lower halfway into Chaturanga. Either way, untuck the toes, shine the chest forward, hips are on or off the mat. In Cobra, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Stay here. Sigh it out. Maybe you invite a little walking in your legs. 1 more round of breath here. Find stillness, left foot stays on the mat as your right foot lifts up into the sky. 3-legged dog. Option, you can just keep your legs straight, you can bend it, whatever you want. Just for 1 more round of breath. And then step your foot all the way through between your hands and stay here in runner's lunge. Exhale. Start to pull your elbows and your shoulders back and down as you shine your chest forward. Sigh it out. And now left hand firmly plants on the mat, and then open your right arm into the sky. Find a nice twist. Feeling this in the upper back, hopefully. Option to have your back knee down. You can also have your hand up on a block if you want. Let's take 1 more round of breath here. And then exhale, now your right hand comes to the inside of your right foot. Turn your back heel back and down 90 degrees so your toes point towards the long edge of the mat. Press into your right hand and now extend the left. Maybe you gaze up, maybe you gaze down, maybe you gaze straight ahead. Whatever works for you. And now option to hold this, or if you want to find a bind as we move into the first principle of Kwanzaa. See how your shoulder is almost to the level of your knee. Find it there, bracing your outside of your shoulder to the inside of your knee. Take this bottom hand, reach it underneath, turn your top palm towards the back of the room or wherever back of you and find a bind. And we'll take a couple rounds of breath here. Maybe you gaze up, maybe you gaze down. So I thought this idea of binding a bounded pose, that our liberty is bound together, right? This idea of unity. Keep your shoulder open. If you can't find the bind, that's okay. Still meditate on unity. 1 more round of breath here. Exhale, release. Right hand comes back to the mat. Extend the left arm. 1 more round of breath, and then we'll lift from here using our obliques into Warrior 2. Push into your front heel. Woo, and lift up into Warrior 2. If you need to shake the front leg out, I do, so no shame in that. You can kind of hop around as your arms stay in their T. And then settle in. Taking a round of breath here as we settle into the second principle, self-determination. So I thought this idea of self-power warrior pose is a very strong pose, right? One more round of breath. And then drop your back hand, reach the other arm up, reverse your warrior. And then you can find a bind with your back hand around your sacrum if you want. I know this front leg's burning already. One more round of breath. And then front elbow to front knee as you lift the other arm up and overhead. Find a nice stretch. Just one more round of breath here. And then exhale, turn everything back down to the mat. Hands plant and find your way back to plank. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, lower halfway or all the way down. Shine your chest and bring it back downward, facing dog as you exhale. Take a round of breath here, and then we get to do that all on the other side. Ground down on the right foot. This time the left leg lifts up into the sky. Three-legged dog, Tripada Adho Mukha Svanasana. Shoulders stay square, pressing into all 10 fingers. One more round of breath. And exhale, draw your knee in, step your foot between your hands. Stay here for runner's lunge. Maybe you come up onto your fingertips, maybe your hands are flat, so that you can roll your shoulders away from your ears, shining your chest. One more round of breath. And then right hand stays on the mat and your left arm opens up on an inhale. Find a nice twisting, an option to have the back knee down. Maybe you gaze up, maybe you gaze down, whatever feels best in your neck. One more round of breath here. And then exhale, slowly take your hand to the mat. This time the left hand comes to the inside of left foot, back heel back and down 90 degrees, toes point the long edge of the mat. And now open your right arm, twisting towards the opposite direction. One more round of breath here, and then you can stay right here. You can also turn your top hand around and just find a half bind, or if you want, again, bracing your shoulder and your knee, tuck your other hand underneath and find a bind. Connecting with the first principle, unity. Our liberty is bound together. Here in bound extended side angle. Connect with your breath, connect with your intention. One more round here. Side up. Slowly release the hands. Come back to the twist and then ground down in the front foot, lifting up into warrior two. Use your oblique, pull, pull, pull. Arms stay to T, exhale, settle. Again, if you need to release some tension, no shame if you need to kind of bob it out for a little bit. And then slowly find stillness. 3 rounds of breath here in warrior pose for the principle of self-determination, right? Your own power. Let's do one more round of breath. I know the front leg is burning. Invite the burn. Drop your back hand. Front arm reaches up and overhead. Reverse your warrior. Maybe you find a bind around your back. One more round of breath. And then front elbow to front knee, extended side angle. Other hand comes up and overhead. Feel that nice stretch. And then next exhale, take it back to plank. And move through your Vinyasa flow. So you can lower all the way down or not, whatever you desire. We'll all meet in downward facing dog. Take one more round of breath here. Exhale, side out. And I'll lift the heels, bend the knees, gaze forward and step or hop your way to the top of the mat. Halfway lift and chair pose, Utkatasana, sit it down. Inhale, arm to sweep up. Exhale here. And then inhale, stand like you're a growing candle and hands come down by your sides. Tadasana, mountain pose. Big breath out. Let's do one more round of breath there. Exhale, side out. And now for the rest of class, we'll kind of stray away from the Vinyasa style. So that first half was Vinyasa, now we'll just kind of flow. So ground down in the heels. As you're ready, inhale, arms reach up. And exhale, sit it down, chair pose. Hold here, Utkatasana. Take one more round of breath.
And then we're going to roll onto our backs from chair. If that doesn't work for you, you can just stay in chair or you can come to your back. If you want to roll with me, we'll do it 7 times. Begin to sit down on the exhale all the way to the mat and then roll on your back, feet come up into the air and we'll move right back into chair. So play with that. Otherwise, do it 6 times. Exhale. Inhale. That's number 2. Exhale, sit, roll back. Inhale, use your momentum to come back to chair. This is number 4. Rolling, rolling, rolling. Number 5. Imagine that you're just getting a nice spinal massage. Number 6. Last one. Meeting in chair, and then sit it all the way down and come on to your back and let the soles of your feet come to the mat. Knees are bent, hands by your side. Take a round of breath here. And then moving into the 3rd principle of collective work and responsibility, we'll come into bridge pose. So I invite you to roll kind of your shoulders out and under, and then try to tuck your tailbone so you don't have too much space between your low back and the floor. And then ground down in your heels. Make this harder by lifting your toes. Squeeze your glutes and lift with your glutes into the air. Take 1 more round of breath here to find the posture, and then we'll lift 6 more times for 7 in total. Exhale down, finding that flat back again. Inhale and exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Number 4. Squeeze the glutes. So you should feel this in the glutes. Inhale. Exhale. Last time, lift it up. Might have done actually 7 there, but that's okay. And exhale, drop the hips, and then slowly bring the knees into the chest. Maybe roll it out a little bit, stretch it out. And now we'll be rolling from here to a seat. So if you just need to come to a seat without the roll, do that. Otherwise, I like to grab my feet. We'll be coming into butterfly pose. So begin to rock it out. And find your way all the way to a seat. I'll adjust here so you don't just stare at my side. Coming into butterfly pose, knees are out, soles of the feet together, hands can be gently gripping the toes. Breathe in, breathe out, maybe close your eyes. This is like our intermission. If you want to increase this, you can pull your chest forward, or you can just kind of fold all the way down and hang. So the bridge pose, I thought for collective work and responsibility, I thought of a bridge, right? Bridging between 2 people, bridging works. You can't make a bridge by yourself, really. And so I thought of that idea of we are all responsible to each other. And I thought the bridge was this great idea of connection. Exhale, maybe sink a little deeper here. And this is for the next principle of Kwanzaa, for cooperative economics. So even though this is called butterfly pose, it's also called cobbler's pose. Exhale, sink a little bit deeper, taking a little big stretch here in the middle. And I thought of a cobbler, right? Someone who makes your shoes. We all need shoes, or most of us need shoes. But you don't think of a cobbler as super well paid, right? I've seen a lot of, exhale, sink deeper, cobblers in other countries, especially, they just kind of work in small shops or on the streets. And so I thought of this cooperative economics, exhale, of having a more fair system. Really, this was the only pose that I thought could tie into economics, as a cobbler, a shoemaker. 1 more round of breath here. And then slowly roll it up. Take a second, maybe shake something out, and we'll come back to chair pose. So as you're ready, we're gonna come back onto your back.
or you can just stand upright into chair. I'm gonna roll up into chair just one time. So as you're ready, maybe your hands go up overhead, lift the feet to gain momentum, and roll right back up, or meet us in Utkatasana chair pose. Take one more round of breath here, and then exhale, fold it forward, release. Inhale, halfway lift, bend the knees, plant the hands, and step or hop your way back to plank. Take a round of breath here, and then shift forward, move through your Vinyasa flow, lowering all the way or halfway down, untuck the toes, shine the chest, and Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Take one more round of breath here, and now we'll flow into plank 7 times. Inhale, begin to undulate forward, find plank. Exhale, pike it back and up. Inhale, I guess I should say up and back is more of the sequence of events. This is number 3. Exhale. 4. 5, feeling the shoulder rotation as we begin to activate our core for the next principle. Inhale, exhale. Last time here, coming into plank, hold, 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 feel your core active. Let's do a little body check, pressing into all 10 fingers. Heels are shooting back, belly button is pulling in. One more round of breath, and then we're going to lay it all the way down. Shift your weight forward, keeping the elbows in, lower all the way to the mat. Untuck the toes, and then let your hands come down by your side as you come onto your forehead. If you need to adjust on your mat, you can. Just take one more round of breath here. Remember your intention. Side out. Now begin to bend your knees so that your feet are in the air, but your legs are still on the mat. And then for 3 times, we'll just pull the chest up, palms turn in, shoulders pull away, and then inhale, lift the chest like you're finding baby cobra, and exhale down. Twice more. Inhale, just lift the chest. Exhale down. Last time, inhale. And exhale. Now you can do that again and hold, or you can find a bind, reaching back, grabbing the tops of your feet as we move into the next principle. Here, one more big round of breath. Exhale, side out, and then lift everything up to come into bow pose, Dhanurasana. We'll hold here for a couple rounds of breath. And so the next principle is purpose. And so I thought of a bow as used, to aim at a target. And so purpose, right? The sense of our goals, of achieving our goals, our aims. One more round of breath here. And then slowly release, exhale, hands come back by your sides. Keep the elbows pulling away. Inhale, lift the chest off the mat, rising cobra, big stretch, taking it back to child's pose. Lift the hips and shift them back towards the heels. Take a round of breath here. And another. Also, Dhanurasana is a solar plexus chakra asana. And the solar plexus chakra, the Manipura chakra in yoga, is associated with your sense of motivation and power and achievement. So also channeling that for this idea of purpose. One more round of breath. Sigh it out. And then lift your chest up enough so that you can begin to tuck your toes. If you need to crawl forward on your mat a little bit more, you can. And then begin to walk your hands back towards your knees as you lift your knees up and begin to shift side to side as we come into Malasana or yogi squat. So if this doesn't work for you, lift the hips and then shift back and forth in a half squat. Taking one more round of breath, I'll turn to face you. And then either settle in here in a half squat, hands can be on the mat, they can be resting on your knees, or all the way in Malasana, garland pose, yogi squat. Being here for a couple more rounds of breath. Find a straight back, shine your chest, tall spine. Maybe you close your eyes. And this is to tap into our sacral chakra, which is associated with creativity, which is the next principle of Kwanzaa, is creativity. For those of you who aren't super into the yoga philosophy, the chakras are the 7 points of alignment along the spine where your right and left energies combine, and each one is associated with a different color and energy. So tapping into our second chakra for the 6th principle here, creativity. One more round of breath here in Malasana. Turn back. And then from here, if you can, we're just going to sit it all the way back. And stretch the legs out nice and long. Taking a second to adjust if you need to on your mat. Sitting up nice and tall, tucking the belly button in. Arms reach up, inhale, and exhale, fold it forward. Bow your head. Paschimottanasana. Transitioning between the last 2 chakras. This is also or I should say the last 2 principles of Kwanzaa, but also chakras. This is connecting still into your sacral chakra. Your sacrum is here on your back, so if you just think of that area with the forward fold, but also tapping into the final principle, which is faith. And so I think of this idea of faith as often maybe seen as devoting yourself to something. So this idea of bowing forward, of surrendering. Exhale, see if you can't sink just a little bit lower. If this hurts, you can bend your knees as well, or you can have your fists underneath your knees. Just a couple more rounds of breath here. Starting to move into the last principle of Kwanzaa, faith. Exhale, side up. And then slowly roll the spine up. Inhale, begin to bend your right knee, cross it over, or I should say the right foot over the left knee, and then right hand comes back behind you. Inhale, left arm reaches up and find a twist. Your elbow comes to the outside of your right knee. Coming into the last principle, faith. By opening into our heart chakra here. On each inhale, sitting up nice and tall. On each exhale, twisting just a little bit more from the upper back. Let's do one more round of breath here. And then slowly unwind, and we'll take it to the other side. Right leg goes straight, bend the left knee, left foot crosses over the right knee, left hand goes back, right arm goes up, and find your cross here in half Lord of the Fishes pose. So this is really opening up your heart center, and I thought this idea of tapping into your heart center is where faith might come from, right? The belief in something that maybe you can't see or feel. It's more of this sense right inside of you. So one more round of breath here, and then slowly unwind. And now you can either come into Shavasana by lying on your back, or you can come into a seated posture for our final meditation. So whichever you feel works best for you. I'm going to come into corpse pose, Shavasana. But you may stay in a seat. Maybe your hands are on your stomach, one on your heart, by your side, on your knees if you're seated. Let's just take a moment here to reflect on the principles of Kwanzaa. Unity. We are unified as a community. Self-determination. We are powerful as a community. Collective work and responsibility. We are responsible to each other, not necessarily for each other, but to each other. Cooperative economics, an economic system that benefits the community. Purpose. We have a purpose in our lives and our community. Creativity. We do what we can with what we have. We are creative in the way that we use our resources for maximum benefit. And finally, faith. We trust in ourselves and the community. I invite you to think of
Whichever one of those stands out to you most, maybe all, whether you yourself are part of the African American community or not. Just as whether or not you celebrate Christmas or Hanukkah, I think there's something that we can learn in each tradition and history and faith and practice and culture. Let's do one more round of breath there. And then if you're in Shavasana, I invite you to, maybe you can just stay here. If you want to move to a seat, you can slowly start wiggling things. Maybe you roll onto your side, or you can just stay there, or you can slowly make your way to a seat. If you do, maybe your hands stay on your knees, come to your third eye, heart center, maybe bow your head. I thank you for sharing this Kwanzaa yoga flow with me. I hope you enjoyed, and the light in me loves the light in each of you. Namaste.